There are towns that live with the sea, and towns that fear it. Blackport was the second kind, a fog-soaked English fishing village where dawn always felt like dusk, and the ocean whispered more than it roared. At the entrance of the town stood an old wooden sign, "Welcome to Blackport." The paint cracked, the letters warped, as if time itself tried to erase the name. Fishermen worked quietly at the docks, pulling their heavy nets in the pale morning light. No jokes, no songs, only nervous glances toward the water, like they were waiting for something to come out of it. Inside the old seaside pub, lanterns flickered and smoke curled toward the ceiling. Men huddled around tables, whispering about one thing only, the Black Lighthouse. Their voices trembled, like the story itself was listening. An old fisherman lifted his trembling hands. A rusted compass lay in his palm. The needle spun once, twice, then pointed straight toward the sea, toward the lighthouse. In a quiet corner sat Ethan, a young fisherman with a curious heart. He wasn't drinking. He was sketching the Black Lighthouse in his notebook, the candlelight revealing the tension on his face. Far on the cliff edge, the lighthouse loomed. It didn't shine a light. Instead, a faint, dark glow pulsed from the lantern chamber, like a heartbeat made of shadow. Ethan lifted his binoculars to look closer. His eyes widened, the black glow reflected in the lenses, and for a moment he felt like something inside the lighthouse was staring back. Fog crawled over the harbor, swallowing boats and rooftops, turning the whole town into a blank white void. A hand grabbed Ethan's arm. His friend whispered sharply, "Don't go there after midnight." Ethan almost laughed, but something in his friend's eyes killed the joke instantly. He didn't know it yet, but midnight was already calling his name. Night fell like a curtain. Ethan walked alone along a rocky path, lantern in hand. Fog scraped past him, and the waves hit the cliff with a warning roar. His boots sank into wet sand. The lantern's reflection rippled in the puddles, but the reflection wasn't matching the real flame. It flickered, out of rhythm, as if something else was breathing through it. Strange runic symbols appeared on stones along the path, glowing faintly beneath a thin layer of frost. Symbols he had never seen, symbols, he felt, were watching him. Then he reached it, the Black Lighthouse, a towering shadow twisting through the fog with the raging sea crashing below it. It looked less like a building and more like a warning carved into the world. Ethan pushed open the heavy iron door. Rust flaked off like dead skin. Inside, the air was thick with salt, dampness, and something else, something ancient. The staircase spiraled upward endlessly. Cobwebs stretched like veins. Water dripped from the ceiling, and a broken wall clock hung crooked, frozen at exactly midnight. On a wooden table lay a dusty journal. Scratched into the cover were the words, "The keeper still watches." As he flipped the pages, a cold gust swept through, and in the dim light, he saw a transparent figure, the ghost of an old lighthouse keeper from centuries ago, silent, still, watching. Whispers drifted around him, too faint to understand. He spun around, heart pounding, candle flickering violently in his hand. Shadows on the walls twisted and merged. Human shapes stretched, arms reaching, faces forming, then dissolving. Ethan lit another candle. For a split second, dozens of distorted faces appeared in the flame's reflection, all staring straight at him. At the end of a corridor, he found a trapdoor, half submerged in dark water, cold, silent, waiting. He opened it, and pale, ghostly hands shot upward from the water, grabbing at him. The faces of drowned sailors surfaced, eyes wide with terror, mouths gasping for a breath they'd never get again. And then the lantern chamber above ignited, not with light, but with a black flame that swallowed the room in darkness. Ethan bolted up the spiral stairs. Wind howled inside the tower, throwing splinters and debris around him. The whole lighthouse shook like it was alive. At the top stood the keeper, a dripping, ghostly figure, clothes soaked with centuries of seawater, eyes glowing a cold, dead white. Lightning cracked outside. Through the shattered window, ghost ships sailed across raging waves, their sails torn, their crews silent and eyeless. Desperate, Ethan grabbed a metal pipe and swung it at the black lantern. Dark tendrils lashed out, fighting back, refusing to let go of its power. The tower quaked, glass shattered. Candles spun through the air like dying stars. Below the cliff, the sea twisted, forming a massive whirlpool glowing with the same black light. It pulled everything toward it, including him. The tendrils wrapped around Ethan's arms. He was dragged toward the lantern, his scream drowned in the roar of the sea. For a moment he felt like he was underwater, breathing nothing. Then a blinding flash of black and white light exploded. Time froze. Silence swallowed everything. When sound returned, the storm was gone. The lighthouse was in ruins, and the sea was impossibly calm. At sunrise, the villagers stood on the cliff, staring at the empty space where the lighthouse once stood. Some crossed themselves, some whispered prayers. No one spoke Ethan's name. Hours later, a notebook washed ashore. Ethan's notebook, open to a page that read, "The sea called me home." Far beneath the waves, among the wreckage, the black lantern still glowed faintly. And a silhouette, a man in Ethan's clothes, walked slowly across the seabed, drifting into darkness. At sunset, the ocean gave one final pulse of dark light and fell silent, as if the sea itself had taken a breath